it's Joe Pardavila, and you're listening to the Forbes Books Podcast. And what's the secret sauce to becoming a self-made success story? I'm talking about the people who reach high levels of wealth without the help of a large inheritance or trust fund. Now, I can't answer that question for obvious reasons, but my guest today might have an idea or two on how to answer that. His name is Ahmad Alyasin. He is the chairman and CEO of Optima Global Financial, a company that provides complex corporate advice that assists clients with recapitalizations, large-scale buyouts, reverse mergers and acquisitions, and a whole lot more. Ahmad, how are you today?
I'm good, Joe.
Thank you for stopping by the studio. I really appreciate you coming down to Charleston and visiting us. So let's start from the beginning. You are living, I guess, the quintessential American dream. The fact that you came from Jordan, I believe, with $300 in your pocket?
Absolutely, $340.
I apologize, $340.
No. Absolutely. I left Jordan with the $340.
Wow. Okay, so you come to America. What was your goal? Like, why did you come here? What was it about America? Was it just because that American dream that people all over the world talk about?
I really came into America mostly for education. Because everybody there back home is say when you go to America and you graduate from America, it's a big deal.
Okay.
So I came for education. Wasn't nothing in business. I wasn't a businessman. My dad is not a businessman. I did not came from a business family background. But I came in here as a student wants to go to school to study a pilot.
Oh, okay, to fly.
To
Okay.
learn to fly, and because my cousin was a pilot in there, he came educated in here, and it was big deal to him in the Air Force there. So I said I want to be like him. So, but when I came in here, I started to go to school, and I worked, and I lived in the United States in Houston. Then for somehow or another, I worked hard. I started to think of business. I arrived here December 5th, 1977, and Joel, 6 months later, 8 months in 1978, I had my first business.
Wait, what?
This is a fact.
That's remarkable. So I'd love to find out about this transition from living in the sky, wanted to be a fly, but then business. Was there like a singular aha moment that you discovered? You saw maybe something on TV or read something where you're like, yeah, that's something I want to do. Like, how did you stumble into that?
I went to school. I was going to school. That was my goal, to finish school. I was started as a busboy, then a waiter in the restaurant. I was making good money in a restaurant and paying for my school. And then, never thought of it, went me in, and I met my wife from Lake Charles, Louisiana.
Okay.
And then we went to I want to teach her to eat Arabic food, like hummus, falafel, and all of that. She didn't know anything.
Okay.
So I was looking all over Houston, Texas to find a place that served that. So we find the place. Then when I went there, me and her was Saturday night. It was so busy, the place for the guy, and he was by himself. So me and her are young people. We start to help him out. So he came and he offered me a partnership. And I took the partnership while I'm working as a waiter, making almost $300 a night at that time in 1978, 70.
Now, did you know what that meant, being a...
No, I really did not. So, and I had no money. The guy was very wealthy, and he's an old man, came from education original. And I started cleaning the place with him and me and my wife.
Wow.
And then he offered us the partnership. So when I got the partnership, I was partner in the restaurant. My wife works in the restaurant while I'm still working as a waiter.
Wow.
Slowly. And then 4 to 6 months later, I sold my partnership with big profit. And then from there, I jumped from business to business, and that's how it is.
What a crazy story. And you make it sound like it was easy, but I know it's
not easy.
Yeah, there were some struggles. I remember hearing a story about something where you lived on like one egg a day or something like that.
Absolutely, yes.
Can you tell me about that?
When I came in from Jordan, and I didn't have no place to live. I had nowhere to go. So I didn't even know what to eat. So it was 7-Eleven next to me. I don't know where to go, no car, nothing. So I go every day to 7-Eleven or once a week, and I buy the Miss Bird, the bread, the white bread.
Okay.
And a dozen of egg. And that's what I eat every day. I fry one egg with 2 pieces of bread.
Wow.
Until I start to make money and get, better and better, and that's how it is.
Is it amazing to look back at it now over 40 years later and be like, I was living off 7-Eleven eggs, and now it's crazy.
Joe, when I truly think and deeply myself because of the experience I went through it, I do cry when I look at my lifestyle, where I were, where I come from, and how I made it in the United States to be in this level.
Wow.
It's something really. It's hard to imagine.
Yeah, no, it's almost like a Hollywood story.
And I don't know nobody. I had no relative, no cousins, nobody here in the United States. And I came into Houston. I have nobody whatsoever.
If you don't mind backtracking, why Houston? How did you end up Houston? Because I come from immigrants as well, and my mother was from Cuba, and so the sponsor that sponsored her out of Cuba was from New Jersey. So that's how my family ended up in New Jersey. So how did you end up in Houston?
Back home, it was different. Back home, it's like you get an I-20 from your school, but you have to have the bank statement, you have to have the sponsor, you have to have money in your account before you come in here to give you the I-20. And there, my mom passed away, and when she passed away, opening her hand saying, God send Ahmad to America and bless him wherever he goes. And I guess God listened to her before she died. So when I went I wanted to come to the United States, I asked him I wanted to come to the United States. Joe, I did not know United States is so many different states.
Yeah, we got 50 of them, yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't know that. And then the guy asked me, where do you want to go to the United States? I said, I don't know, America. He said, where in America? I said, I have no idea. He said, what about Texas? I said, Texas, fine. He said, okay, where in Texas? I said, I don't know. He said, how about Houston? I said, okay, fine. So he got me the I-20 in Houston. When I went to the embassy of United States Embassy in Jordan, I had no supporting document whatsoever.
Wow.
But I swear to you, my visa was now #1 visa issued that says Ahmed, the first name. Wow. And I got the visa with no document, no supporting, everything. Even told me, how did you come in here? How did you get it? Wow. That's all I believe from Mama blessing and what she was asking God to do for me before she passed away. Wow. So I came in here. That's how I came into Houston. Do not know nobody, have nowhere to go whatsoever, Joe.
What a great story. And so we'll fast forward a little bit here because we could be speaking for hours about your life history. So you fall in love with entrepreneurship and you go from business to business. It didn't seem like you were married to any vertical, right? You got involved in the next thing after next thing. It was almost like you were putting together like a puzzle, and they were all being put together. Were there certain verticals that you were super attracted to that you gravitated to, or was it just kind of you were just grinding and what came your way you were going with?
I was really at the beginning when I started the business like a rookie in the business. So any business comes my way, I go for it.
Right.
However, it gave me an experience, but at the later in my experience, or I would say maybe over 30 years ago, I start to analyze and know exactly which direction I should go. I did a study to see what is the best business in the world you want to do and the most valuable business. And I did do that study, and I came up with that study, and the result is the business I am in now. What I do is the IPOs and the venture capital, beside my other investment, which is manufacturers and all of that. So I came up to this, and that's what I find. That's a business where it is the highest level business in the world, valuable. You don't need to work so hard. You do you don't need to work on the weekends. And that is a business I chose after study and experience. Not I jumped in. Before I was jumping here and here. I went up and down. I made it.
Say no to nothing, right?
Right, exactly. But all that gave me a massive experience that I would love to share it or love people to have the same experience I learned, especially in business.
And venture capital, it's crazy nowadays.
Absolutely, yeah.
When you first got into it, do you remember your first VC deal, what it was like?
When I got to this business, the IPOs, I didn't go to school. I didn't know anything about it.
What IPO stood for.
I didn't even know what his IPO stood for, correct. So I met the people, and they got me to the business, and we signed an agreement that they're going to charge me $4 million to learn the business in 1 year.
Ooh.
As a partner.
Okay.
I didn't have the $4 million, but I signed the contract with them.
So how did you pull that off?
So I had some, because they asked me.
From your previous companies?
Right, which is I had the medical companies as well, because after I did my study, I find that the 3 major things that you make the most money in America. So medical and financial are top of this.
Okay.
So I had a medical was bringing me good money. So I gave these people some money, but they were looking for to have the money sitting in an escrow,
Right.
not to give it to them until we finish and I'm happy. So we signed that contract. After 1 year, I signed a contract with them, had them the 4 million. But when we left one of the companies that did the merger and acquisition, my share in the stocks at the time, it was in Merrill Lynch, was equal to over $11 million. So at the end, when I went, because that's when I started to believe, I said,
So you're like, I got the 4 million covered now.
the most important things in business is to have the guts and the balls to jump to the business. And that's what made me jump into it and say, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to come up with the 4 million. And look what happened. I didn't have to come up with it. I still made profit.
Wow. But you are now living in a time when you started becoming an entrepreneur, being a millionaire was the thing. Now everybody wants to be the B word, the billionaire. What has that change been like for you as now someone who's doing quite well, but the fact that everyone went from being, I want to be a millionaire to a billionaire, which is a big jump, but nowadays more and more people are doing it. That's got to be remarkable for you, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. One thing, I don't announce what is my net worth, what I have, what I don't.
Me neither.
I never.
I'm same way.
No, I never done it because I tell you what, I believe in one thing, and especially God, give that. It's always be humble and be down to earth and stand with people and help people. Let them judge what I have. I don't want to go and tell them what I have. I want them to look at me based on what I help, what I do, to let them just say, this guy, billionaire, millionaire, broke, not broke. Let them judge, because as long as I'm happy and I am fine, I'm able to help others, I'm fine with that. It is an absolutely marvelous feeling when you are talking in a big, humongous money and you sit at the table and you do a humongous transaction. That's what I do. I don't do any small deal. I don't entertain anything. I only
Now you say no.
I say no. I don't even entertain sitting with anybody unless it's something that is, I know. It's not I'm being picky or I'm snobby or no. I'm very humble. I treat everybody with dignity and respect everywhere. It doesn't make a difference what color you are, what religion, where you're from. It makes no difference to me. I treat people with great respect. I'm very humble. My staff, the guy park my car, the guy clean my house or clean my office, I put them to eat next to me, the same table. I don't have that. But I'm not the person of when I say I don't want to meet with people and do business, I'm very selective, because I got to this point, I deal with companies, for example, minimum 500 million in asset and above. And why? Because that's what, that's the level of business I started.
Right,
I deal with people in a different level in business. I see people by appointment only. My door's always locked unless you make an appointment. I don't entertain anything in here because my time is valuable. I built that to be a valuable time.
Yeah.
And it's very important in life.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time, because I'm a little worth a little south of 500 million. So thank you very much.
No, that is different.
I appreciate it.
I'm talking about my business. You know what I mean.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But what's curious about that is the fact that time, because you certainly can buy anything you want. You could buy all the crap in the world, but you can't buy time. When did you realize the importance of time?
I realized that I went to a business course, Joe, and then they said, the method of the top CEOs of the countries, how to be a top CEO of the country. And I'm not saying I am one of the top or the top CEOs of the country, but I'm fine. So I learned that. And when you meet and the person who is teaching you, how to be the top CEOs, one of the most important things is time. I knew that before, but I did not emphasize it very much. I did not really push on it strongly. But when I heard it from him, I said, I got to do that. It took me a while to do a lot of things they were teaching you, but once I got to it, it's benefit to every CEO or a big person want to be successful.
Interesting. Circling back to your VC work that you're doing now, let's talk about entrepreneurs, because obviously you've done pretty well as an entrepreneur, and you've seen that the failure rate is like especially for startups, like 90% failure rate in the first couple of years.
Yes.
Why do you think that number is so high? Like, if you could boil it down just from companies that you've been involved with or not been involved with, more importantly, why do you think those entrepreneurs are failing at such a high rate?
I'm going to tell you why. One of the most important things in business, beside the principle and ethics, is management. If you don't have the right management for your business, you will fail, because many people, they do the management or they start to market their businesses before their management, and they fail. You never market your business before you have the right management and the right team working with you. If you have the right management, three things very important, Joe. To have the guts and the balls for the business, to have the right management and the right marketing. You put all these things together and you force them strongly, you will succeed regardless what business you have.
Wow.
Besides you got to have your principle, your ethics. Business ethics is very important. Principle is very important, because you want other to look at you different. As an example, you don't want to say things to people. Oh, I'll see you today at 5:00. Oh, come on in here, and then you don't, and all that. No.
Wow. And when did you, I guess it's such an esoteric thing, but like, how do you know you have the right manager? How do you know you have the right team outside of seeing what their results are? Because sometimes it's not always the results, right? There's other things beyond the results. It's how people treat each other, how the culture of a company. How do you know you have the right management in place?
You will see it and you will feel it, because it will be produced. You can see that you can see it as a smooth operating. It's not. I give you an example. I just signed an agreement with somebody as a partnership with this company. It's evaluated over $2 billion. I have people already putting money, big money, on the table for me to be a partner. I refuse to take it. Why? Because I still don't have the right management, the right setup for that particular company I'm buying.
Oh.
Once I put it together and I know it is together smoothly and professionally, then I can be able to take people and as if I need them as a partner or people to buy the products and all that. So you will definitely see it as a businessman when you have the right management. You in any business, it's visible.
I wrote about this in my book about self-awareness, and it seems like you are incredibly self-aware. Like, you know your limitations, you know what you're good at. Where did this self-awareness come from? How did you realize what skills you have, but what also deficiencies you have?
Experience.
Yeah.
I went, like I told you, I got in so many different businesses, Joe. And I always work hard in each one of these businesses. Until I reached to the level I said, hey, I used to have 11 businesses in the same time, Joe.
Wow.
I used to make over $1.5 million to 1.3, 1.2 a month, and I still have checks comes against my account negative. That's my account overdraft. And my banker used to tell him, what happened, man? I deposit. Because you have in here and here, and you don't have that management right.
Oh.
So once I start to get that experience, which has been almost close to 30 years, each business I fail, one thing I learned out of it. It's not that is I went and I made the same mistake over and over. When I fail, every successful businessman did not become successful because from the first business. They fail, they went up and down, but the most important, you learn from your mistake, and when you fail, you jump higher and bigger than the first time, and that's what happened.
And I'm curious about your trajectory. What was the impact of mentorship on your career? Did you have mentors along the way, or was it just you learning a lot of trial and error?
I really did not have any mentors in my life.
Wow.
I learned things on my own with my hard work and my consistent. Even if I fail in business, I'm still consistent. I never give up. I'm always say, okay, I lost this money here, I made the money. Money does not make me. I'm gonna make it bigger and bigger. I don't let failure get to me. I don't cry over spilled milk. If I made a mistake, I said, you know what, I'm gonna make it better and better.
Wow.
So I learned that through the process. With the experience, it taught me a lot, because experience major important.
And what's your take on mentorship now? Do you like to mentor the next generation of entrepreneurs?
I would love to, and I'm my most important, 4 books when I write a book about me is because I wanted it to be part of mentor to the young generation. I like to share the wealth. I like to educate people, young people, tell them this is what is the best thing to do in life. This is how you can do it. And I love to do that because I'm the kind of person, I'm not a selfish person. I share wealth. I'm generous by nature. I have a big heart, and I love to educate young generation, especially people from my own region, from back home. They don't know anything about IPOs or stock. I want to teach them and tell them this is the business you want to be in, because it is good business. And not just that, show them what it is the entrepreneur to be an entrepreneur. Show them the road, how the experience is very important. Because these days now it's only thing left is social media and experience. Degrees didn't do no good no more.
The word entrepreneur, you're probably old enough to remember that word had a different meaning back then.
Absolutely.
Do you find it weird that now we're living in this world where basically entrepreneurs are treated like gods? They're almost like the Elon Musks of the world, and before him Steve Jobs, are treated like gods. When I was growing up, and I'm sure when you were growing up, you didn't know who ran a company outside of like the Henry Fords of the world. No one knew who was a CEO of a company, and now everyone knows who's a CEO, how much they're worth, going back to what you're talking about. Is that fascinating to you, this culture of entrepreneurship and sort of idolization of entrepreneurs?
It is fascinating because when you go anywhere in the world, you'll hear about, for example, Elon Musk or Steve Jobs or Bill Gates and all that.
Yeah.
And why? Because social media become to everybody in the world. You go, I'm looking at my social media, I look at my TikTok, I look at my Instagram, and you see people back home and everywhere. You see them everywhere, and you know who's the person, who's the wealthy, and who's that. It's because of the social media. That's why it's becoming now is the social media. One mistake I made is I have a lot of people come to me and through the social media years ago to invest with them.
Oh boy.
I chose some I did not. I blame myself. I said I should have went with it because it would be humongous.
Oh wow.
With a lot of these companies are trading in the market now big.
Sure.
That is, I had the opportunity to invest in them.
So that's such a bad regret. I think you've done pretty well
Yeah,
besides
I'm fine.
that.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm fine. I can't complain. Yes.
You mentioned TikTok and social media. It's amazing, and not to be ageist or anything like that, but folks your age aren't doing all that stuff. Why do you feel it's important to grasp onto social media and be investing your time, which we talk about the importance of it? Why do you think it's so important for you to be involved in those?
Because if you want to be involved in this life, or what has happened, what is coming in life, and you get involved and you feel you are part of this society, you got to get involved with the social media and learn how to do it. I am not a savvy in it and an expert in it, but I do good, and I force myself to learn it and know, because at the end of the day, is even when you want to deal with your son, he's only talk to you the language of the social media.
Right.
He doesn't speak to you in the language like we used to have.
Right.
It's all social media, and if you are not going to learn it, you're going to miss the boat. You're going to be like left out.
Wow.
So that's why it is so important for me, whether it's for my business, whether for myself, to feel that is I am part of this society. That is, hey, I'm mixing with you. I know how to use Snapchat. I know how to use Instagram. I know how to use TikTok. I know how to post. I know how to. You have to, because that's where we come into. As we get older and time comes in, it's gonna be even completely different picture.
Wow.
Because everything is going to be social media.
Yeah, it's funny. I was working on a TV show a few years ago, and the guy who ran it he was a baby boomer. He was probably in his 60s, and a lot of the content for the show was based on what people were saying on Twitter. And to me, I was like, wow, it's so weird to like base your judgment on a social media platform. So I said to him one day, I'm like, why is Twitter so important to you in this show? He goes, listen, I've been in show business for 40 years, and I've seen a lot of dinosaurs become extinct because they didn't want to adapt. He goes, if I'm wrong, but I do not want to be one of those dinosaurs. Do you think that's the problem with a lot of older folks in business, that they grasp on to their old ways of doing things, the old adage, that's just the way we've always done it around here? Do you think that's sort of the demise of the older generations when it comes to being entrepreneurs, being business owners, running a business?
Some people do have that. I met a lot of older people. They're not believing in social media. They don't want to go on it. But I promise you, they are lost. What they're doing is they're just living their life as it's like before, but they're not involving when they're not seeing what is the new generation, the new life is about. To me, if I didn't see it, I'm still living my old way, my old-fashioned way, and I'm missing something in this society. To be active in life, you got to know about the social media. We have no choice. It's not my choice. It's not your choice. It's not their choice. They can be an old-fashioned as much as they want, but they're gonna just be just the same way they're living. That's it. They're gonna die with their habit, their old-fashioned way. But if you feel that you want to get more sophisticated, know about life, about social media, you got to get involved.
And lastly, Ahmed, I'm not very religious, but one thing is I feel like we're all here for a reason. Like we all have a purpose in life, right? What is Ahmad Alyasin's purpose in life?
I tell you what is my purpose in life. I pray. I'm Muslim. I pray 5 times a day. And I fast. And I always say, God, give me the power to help others and to help the needy people. I promised God, I said, if I do what I'm supposed to do, which is I'm still going to do, I am going to help the needy people. I'm the kind of person I could care less for the rich person, the high level. Yes, I respect them, I deal with them. I'm not worried about you sheik, you prince, you got money, you got that. That's my last worry. I stand next to the person needs me, that's who needs my help. The person that's in need, in whether it's health wise or whether sickness or whether they don't have the money or living, I will do whatever it takes to help them within my capacity. That's what I want to go and face my God with, by helping as many people as I can. Because when you're gonna face God, He's not gonna ask you how much money you saved in Wells Fargo or Bank of America or how many bonds or how many shares of stocks you have. He's gonna ask you how many people you helped. That's how you're gonna be judged, by helping. And in life, as we speak, you are judged by whom you help and who you hang around with. And if you help the people needy, you're not the stingy person and you don't care for me. Is not. I worry about when I'm going to face God. What is God's gonna ask me, and what good I'm doing to the community and to the needy people.
Well, you've come a long way since eating those eggs and bread at 7-Eleven, Ahmed. Thank you very much for the time. I really appreciate you stopping by.
Joe, my pleasure. Thank you very much. I enjoyed it very much. Thank you.
You're very welcome, sir. And that is it for this episode of the Forbes Books Podcast. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you take a quick second to subscribe so you automatically get new shows when they drop. Also, if you have a minute, I would love if you left us a review so more amazing entrepreneurs like yourself can discover the show. And please don't forget the golden rule and treat others as you want to be treated. Thanks for listening. Until next time, adios.